giù sul volo, quanto dura più o meno?
Quanto dura? Quanto
Sì.
vuoi? Un'oretta se vuoi.
Ok, sì,
Sì,
perché io tra un'ora dovrei avere qua un tipo che dopo partiamo a correre, quindi un po' meno di un'ora sarebbe top. Però
sì, 45 minuti va
sì,
benissimo.
sì, facciamo
Anche
così.
mezz'ora.
Vai, 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 top,
Quando mi dici di finire, finiamo.
top.
Roberto Delorenzi, welcome to the Running Lawn podcast.
Hi, hi Francesco. Thank you for having me.
Why are you so relaxed when you are always like super excited?
I'm ready to the next week. Oh, yeah.
Aspetta che siamo già partiti male, che ti ho perso, va.
Sì, ma infatti anch'io a un
Mi
certo
senti?
punto, sì, anch'io a un certo punto non.
Rifacciamo che tanto abbiamo detto un cazzo.
Sì, però aspetta un secondo. Marco! Perché no? Perché dopo devo prendere il gatto e portarlo al veterinario, perché se. Quando, adesso tra poco che prendete il gatto, non venite qua a fare un casino, perché dopo si sente tutto. Sto registrando una roba. Dire se caso qualche cosa sui gay? Sì, vuol dire. Bene. No, però faccio una cosa, vado su camera che quasi. Ah no, però dopo non c'è wifi. No, sto qua.
Ma
Beh,
stai lì, fa niente, tanto fa niente, minchia,
sì, boh.
rilassato.
No, 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 ma magari esce, dice qualche puttanata in italiano. eh.
Tanto dobbiamo registrare in inglese.
Va bene, dai, adesso si può iniziare.
Via. Aspetta che spengo il wifi del telefono. Sì, ho spento. Roberto De Lorenzi, welcome to the Running On podcast.
Hi, Fra. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
Why are you so relaxed that you're always like overexcited about everything and now you're, hey, Fra, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, off season, so I'm a bit relaxed. The first week I did really nothing, 0 kilometers. And yeah, this is second week, just going a little bit back to it and yeah, bit relaxed.
How much time are you planning to take for your off season? I mean, last week I saw you did like, just to be clear, 0 kilometers.
Yeah.
But this week you're like already running. So what does your off season look like?
Yeah, so like the first week I did really 0, 0. I went to the US with Brooks. We did a bit of photo shooting with them. So yeah, I ran just there like back and forth for like 10 seconds just for the videos. But yeah, like training wise, 0. I did really 0. I wanted to do one off week, really totally off week. And yeah, I think I will do maximal 2 weeks of off season. So the first one really 0, and this one is the second one. Yesterday I did 1 hour 30 easy with my brother, and I think yeah, I will maybe not every day do something, but this week, yeah, almost every day, but not doubling, just once without any intense workouts or just for pleasure. And yeah, I think from 1st December I will return to normal training.
Is it enough for you? Because it's like a lot of people know that you're like, especially if people follow you on Strava, you're training like very high volume. I don't know how many hours you did this year, but maybe you will give us some stats. So do you think is enough for you? Just like 1 week of real rest and then the second week already doing some training and then from the third week going back to to normal training basically.
Yeah, but I think like off season has to be like more like mentally. If you feel mentally ready to go on with normal training, I think it's enough. I did this week, and already now I want to go back to normal training. So, yeah, maybe 1 week more. It's good to do it, and then yeah, like but okay, now I did like 2 weeks of off season, but also in the season, so in the year I did some easy weeks, so it's not just 2 weeks in a year. I did maybe 3 times one easy week during the season, so it's not only now. But yeah, I think for me it's enough to just do now like this and then go back to normal training. Maybe because I'm a raglio that I can do well, but
So
yeah.
So just to set the table here, explain what raglio means and like how do you define ragliare and what is a ragliata? For especially for the English audience, because
Yeah,
you're writing that on Instagram all the time and people don't understand. I mean, it's kind of universal language, but
yeah,
I think it's important to be clear.
yeah. So raglio is how you say the in English the animal?
The
Oh,
donkey?
donkey, donkey. Yes. So it's 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 the come si dice verso? The of the donkey.
Uh,
It,
Actually, I don't know.
okay, but it's what the donkey says. So yeah, ragliare it means that you are going like in the mountains easy, like training like without any clue what are you doing, and this is ragliare.
Is like actually verso di animale is animal sound, so just as
Animal
it,
sound. Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. So yeah, so yeah, it's what the monkey, yes, the donkey sound like. This is ragliare, and yeah, I would say this when you go in the mountains, when you don't have to do like intervals or whatever you have to do, just easy training without any clue. You go wherever you want, and yeah,
How important is that part of training for you compared to like you're serious about your training because then when
yeah,
it's time to push, you do double threshold, you do workouts,
yeah,
long runs, all kind of stuff. But then you're also able to really take it easy and go for these kind of ragliate,
yeah.
like do long hours in the mountains, but like very easy, walking, hiking, running, whatever it is.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that it's really important to when you have to push, you push, and when you don't have to push, you don't push. And so I would say like in one week you have like maybe 2 days that you push, and the other days you just have to do volume, like super easy. So like I would say like 80% of my trainings are ragliate. So yeah, I would say this is really important for me to just being outside in the nature, in whatever, like running, walking, cycling, just to do a lot of hours, volume, low intensity, and I think it's super important for our sport. So yeah,
Yes.
like I said, when you have to push, you are serious and everything, but when you just have to do volume, you can do it with friends, wherever you want, and as easy that you want. Just
Yeah.
you have to do a bit of hours.
Yes. Yes. Also, in many ways, I think is
Yeah.
something that maybe not everyone understands. Like a lot of people think that if you're a runner, you it means that you only have to run, but it can be done in different ways. It can be cycling, it can be skiing, hiking, alpinism. It depends. Also, like the
In the
more
bed if
specific
you
you
want
are,
also.
yeah, the more specific you are, sometimes is the better, but not necessarily all the time. Like for example, if you are not like in the specific training block for a race, if you're like general like on the general block of training, you can you can do this volume in different ways. And
Yeah.
especially like for me in the winter, it's a lot of cycling. For you, maybe it's more skiing or other things, but
Yeah.
it's really many ways you can do it.
Yeah.
Also, I think one other important thing about this whole approach that you have is the fact that like I think you realize the importance of not taking yourself very seriously, but at the same time being serious about what you do. Because I think with this approach, it doesn't mean that you're not serious about your training.
Yeah.
It's just that you're having fun with it and you don't have to like make it look like it's always like super focused, super professional, hyper high quality and everything. It can be just fun running with friends, running in the mountains, but just as effective as it was like super high level
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like that's is what I do, and I like it like this. And yeah, for sure, we are professional athletes, so we know which races we want to do, which races you want to perform well in. So you have to be serious on programming your season, your trainings, and everything. So in that you have to be serious. But
Yes.
with the other stuff, trainings and everything, you have also to a bit go away from that. And I'm like a bit a person that like to avoid a little bit, not taking me too serious in other stuff. So yeah, I think it helps a lot to be with the mind maybe in another place. In I,
I think it's important just to have fun because like the sport is hard enough that it's already very demanding and very mentally it's mentally hard. Like we're
it's
out
really mentally
there
hard.
and it's like a lot of time maybe you're not feeling so good, but you have to push, you have to do the workout. So
Yeah,
like on an easy day, you might as well have fun and just not think too much about, you know, the pace, the intensity, the heart rate, the stats, the whatever, just because it's a lot of fun to be out there doing what we love. So
yeah,
I
that's true.
think,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It has to be fun, because if it's only just you have to do it, you don't want to do it, cannot you cannot go on like this for
forever. Yes.
forever. Yeah,
A
so
lot of
it
people think it's like a lot of sacrifice to be a
mhm.
professional athlete, like to train hard, to do a lot of hours. But if you do it having fun,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
much
lot
better.
less of a sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah,
So
there is always something that is sacrifice, but the main of the hours that you do has have to be fun, because if not,
yeah,
you will burn out. It's impossible to do something that you don't like, and it's
yes,
also like y- y- you are doing you have fatigue when you are running, so you cannot do something like that if you don't like it for days and years.
yeah,
You have to find something that makes fun. And I think going with friends and training, like I said, like 80% is ragliare for me. This is like fun for me.
yes, yes. You have to basically achieve your balance in that as well, because it's not supposed to be hard every day, and it can't be hard every day because otherwise you will get injured, you will burn out, you will
Yeah,
not enjoy the sport. Can you give us some stats about your training in 2024 so far? Because maybe some people don't know how much you've actually done this year, and it's quite impressive, I think. And like also what it means for you to like when you're training like for a race that you're focused and you are like training consistently, like your average number of hours, and what does an easy week look like for you?
yeah. So yeah, I'm opening now Strava just to see a little bit. Now, yeah, we have another month for this year. Until now, I did 6,120 kilometers running, 285,000 elevation gain, and hours are where are they? 636.
Just running.
Just running. But cycling, and then cycling, it's 2,200 kilometers, 3,700 meters of elevation gain, 91 hours. So in hours, I did 730 until now.
Hmm.
And it's an average of 11 hours per week.
Okay.
Okay.
What about other sports like strength work, and maybe there is a
Mhm.
little bit of skiing? What is the rest of your training look like?
Yeah. I do ski mountaineering in winter, and I put it in running.
Okay.
So yeah, I the elevation
That's
gain
cheating.
there. Yeah, when I go up, I put it in running, and when I go down, I just do another
Okay.
activity, ski, normal ski. And but I don't see this on Strava, but I don't know. Just like I said, it's the uphill I do running, so the downhill I would not count it, but it's yeah, not a lot of downhill. And I do also a little bit of cross-country skiing, but it's really not a lot. I would say like 4 or 5 times a year.
Okay.
So let's say 10 hours a year. And yeah, like you said, what's my easy week?
What about
And
strength before we go?
strength. Okay.
Yeah.
I do like in winter, I do twice, 3 times a week, like 30 minutes.
Okay.
I don't go in like in a gym. I do like more like core stuff. And yeah, without any additional
Not a lot
fuel.
of strength,
No, not a
really
lot of.
strength based exercises.
Yeah. And in summer, I would say just once a week.
Just for
And not a
maintenance.
lot. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, if you're already doing a lot of
Of elevation gain. Yeah.
elevation gain in the mountain, you probably don't need to add that much strength. So,
Just for the core a little bit, but for the legs, I really don't feel that I have to work on that. So yeah, and then some exercises like balance,
mm,
this kind of stuff. But yeah, I would say another 30 minutes pro week, I would say. Yeah, two
cool.
times a week, 15 minutes, just a little bit of yeah balance for yeah, like running downhill for having good good feet and caviglia, ankle.
Proprioception, ankle stability, and
Yeah, this yeah
yeah,
balance training,
mobility.
perception stuff, this kind of stuff. Yeah, and then also like a little bit of drills.
Hmm.
I will do that more in winter. In summer, a little bit less. In winter, I would say 2 3 times a week, 30 minutes drills.
For the running
I don't.
economy.
Yeah, yeah, for that, for running economy. Yeah. I do like before intervals, like just 5 minutes always before flat intervals. And then when I do like 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes in a row drills, I do it like maybe second training of the day. I do like 40 minutes easy and then 30 minutes drills in
Okay,
winter, 3 times a week, 2 3 times a week. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So
And
if like your average uh training week when you're say training for a race is like maybe 160 to 200 kilometers
more or less
and
is that.
maybe 5,000 to 8,000 meters of elevation gain per week, and
Yeah.
maybe around 20 hours a week of total volume. So,
Yeah.
what does an easy week look like for you? When you have, like, I remember, for example, maybe it was like after Marathon du Mont Blanc that you took an easy week, or after the European Championship also.
Mhm.
Um, how do you manage that? And how important it is to like take a break in the middle of the season?
Yeah. So yeah, you said like my I weeks is like 160 to 200 kilometers. That's yeah, more or less what I do. Maybe when I do like big weeks in summer, I do maybe also a little bit less maybe kilometers, but there are some weeks that I do also 14,000 vertical meters in a week,
Mm,
so 1,000
yeah.
a day. It's not a lot, but sometimes I do them. And yeah, like after my big goal races of this year, I did like just 1 week of easy training after these appointments, and I think it's really important to do like 1 week really easy. Just do like I will do this week, just to do what your head, your feelings wants to do. So if you want to don't run, just walk in the nature in the mountains or cycle, something like that. It's you have just to do what you want to do, and I think it's really important. Like when we were together in Sessuer after Marathon du Mont Blanc, I did like 1 week of almost just cycling because I was there with Aimo
Yes.
and he was cycling and I don't want it to run. I already did 42 kilometers. I was quite destroyed. My legs were quite destroyed. So in that case, I wanted to cycle. Maybe in another case, maybe shorter race like European Championships. My legs were not so destroyed. A little bit, yes, but not so destroyed. And that the week after that, I did no intensity, just recover week, but I was like running every day. So yeah, it depends a little bit on which race I
Yes,
did,
yes.
if I want to cycle, if I want to run, if I am there with a friend that is doing something, but or doing like alpinism, like I like also that. To I did also in the I don't remember if this it was after the Europeans, but I did a easy week in the elevation in the mountains with other friends. We did some 4,000 meters peaks, but really easy, low intensity, and it's
Yeah, it
really
seems like the volume for you is not a problem. Like it doesn't really matter how much volume you do as long as it is easy,
yeah,
but it allows you to really recover
yeah,
as long as you don't do intensity, of course.
yeah, yeah. You can go outside also like 5 hours a day, but it will recover me mentally.
I think that's not for everyone though. Like
Mm.
personally, it's something that I still find not always easy. What is, I don't think there is a secret, of course, but how have you got to this point where no matter how much you do, as long as it is easy, you're not getting fatigued, you're not getting tired from it?
And I don't know. I think I began like I began 14 years ago going in the mountains, and my first years were really going outside hours alone, and I think I this is what I am like. I began like this to go outside, being like 3 hours. A day outside, easy pace at 13 years old, 14 years old, and I liked it. And I think maybe also that I began like this with nobody that said, like no coach that said me, you have to do this. I was just going outside, listening to my feelings. I wanted to be outside in the nature, staying outside hours, kilometers, reaching peaks and everything. And I don't know, maybe this helped me now to
Yes,
say,
this background,
yeah,
basically.
maybe, yeah, or
Yeah.
yeah, say like this.
Yeah, it's very interesting because like I think a lot of times we think that you can get to a certain level only if you do things in a certain way. Like the training needs to be this or that, but there is actually different ways to get to the same level, to the top. So for you, it might be this way. For me, it might be a little bit different. But I think in the end, we have two maybe slightly different stories, but it's interesting to realize how we managed to get to a really high level
Yeah,
with different experiences. So
yeah, yeah, it's true. Like every athlete is different, and everybody has to find his way to the top if you want.
yes,
And you don't have like one line that it's exactly for everybody the same. You have for sure to do your intensity stuff, and some base trainings you have to do them,
yeah,
but it's like so a polyvalent sport hours, so it's really you can really find the way to the top in very difficult in very different ways, like me, like yours, and
yes.
as others examples.
Talk a little bit more about your background in sport. Especially, I've known you since you were very, very, very young because we used to meet at cross-country races, road races in your region in Ticino, in Switzerland. And one interesting thing is that you were not like me. You were not incredibly talented when you were a young child, like when you were 10, 12, 15 years old. You were
Yeah,
just like really passionate about the sport. You were trying lots of different things. Sometimes I think people were criticizing you because you were already competing in, for example, long races. You did, I think you did a 50-kilometer race at 15 years old,
yeah,
always like doing a big volume of training. But then eventually you start getting better and it paid off and you started having good results and then you became a professional athlete and people started to realize that maybe your approach was leading to something. So talk a little bit about like talent versus hard work and training, to to allow you to get to where you are at the moment?
Yeah, so yeah, my background was like I did when I was in the elementary school, so primary school, I did football, not soccer,
Soccer?
calcio,
Yes.
soccer. Yeah, and like every child in my region at the almost every child in this age, and then I started with table tennis.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, I played 3 years table tennis. Yeah, like three trainings per year in a club with matches in the weekend. Like yeah, like a normal sport. It was nice everything. But then I started in 2010. So when I was 13, with yeah, like I said before, going outside in the mountains to explore a little bit the trails here to reach the peaks and everything. And all this started with our local race here. With my father wanted to join this race. He said to me and my brother, somebody wants to join this race with me. Although he didn't do any races until then, he was really always going in nature, like doing alpinism and this kind of stuff, but no racing background. So I said, yeah, okay, I can go with you and try. And I went, and I don't know, I fall in love with races. I think in that day because I had no endurance back there. I started the
What
race. The
what
guys
race
were
was it?
was like a winter race in Nara, so in the
Okay.
mountains, with like 400 vertical meters, 2 kilometers. Um, you could do it with chaspole. I don't know how to say
Snowshoes. Yeah.
snowshoes or skimo,
Yeah.
and I had snowshoes, and yeah, we started, and there was people that were running. I said, you run uphill? Uphill, you like walk, you don't run uphill. So I don't, then yeah, I went, I gave all what I had, and I don't know, maybe I don't know the time that I finished, maybe 40 minutes, but I knew that I remember that the guy that won was like double faster than me, so it took like the half of my time for doing the race, and I was so like I did so much effort for 40 minutes, and you can do it in double space that I did
Twice
in
as fast. Yes.
one
Yes.
pass. I was like, wow, I want to be like these guys, and these guys were just like local runners, not like professional runners or anything. But yeah, so I was so motivated, and also it was like a night race with headlamps. You saw the like snake of headlamps in the ski slope, the ski slopes, and I don't know, the party also after the race at the dinner, good energy of everybody there. I don't know, I fall in love with the sport, and then so in the day after I wanted also to reach high level, and yeah, that started in 2010 everything. And yeah, what as you said also before, the first 3 years. I was, yeah, like average, doing everything. I wanted really to do really everything, being good on like cross country races, 5 kilometers on the track, half marathon, trail, 60 kilometers trails, vertical. I wanted to do everything and being average good in everything. And yeah, at the beginning, I was, yeah, I was not bad. I was okay, but for sure not in a super high level. So I had a lot of not really friends, but athletes that I knew from other countries that at my age that were better than me, really better than me. And yeah, just I would say the last 4 years that I really did that that I hired my level to
You achieved the next level. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it took a lot of years, a lot of hard work because it's also hard work, and um, and yeah, it was like not. I didn't knew that I could have reached this level. I was like in a good position. I said, yeah, let's go on. I do what I love. I love to to train hard, and hopefully I will follow my dream, and yeah, everything came true. But yeah, I know that I remember that a lot of guys was a little bit criticizing me when I was 15, that I did a 60K race. Also with 17, 18, I did some other 60K races in Italy, like Ultratella Godorta, this kind of stuff, like races of 7, 8 hours that are not really for guys that are 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. That, but I don't know, like
But it didn't kill you.
I didn't kill me, but for sure, if you look at the guidelines at that age, you should not do that. But I don't know. For me, it was okay, and I know I read also other stories of other athletes that when they were young, they did also like 100K races. So it's not really, like we said before, one line for this for reaching the top. Everybody has to find his way, and for me, without anybody saying to me what you should do, what you should not do, really doing what my heart wanted to do, I think that helped me a lot to grow. And then for sure, in the last 4 years that I maybe grew my level in a like professional level now. I think also my studies at the university, because I studied sports, I found good ways to 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 be better in my training. So to say, with that base, I grew in my first 10 years. Then what I studied at the university, all of this is gave me the possibility now to become a good and professional runner.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, more or
Yes, I
less
think
this.
it's super interesting, and also it is true that there are examples of like other athletes that, like the first one that comes to my mind is Kilian, of course, that at a very young age he was already doing a very high volume, spending lots of hours
Yeah,
in the mountains, doing very long and demanding races. And one
yeah,
thing, he didn't die. Second thing, he became really good. So this is not to say that
yeah,
the guidelines are wrong, or like that coaches that are telling you should like focus on speed and like really making sure you're building up gradually. That's not wrong, of course, but then it's important to contextualize
no, no,
these guidelines
yeah,
within each individual story, I think. So,
yeah,
I mean, for
yeah,
sure, we have all made mistakes. I have made mistakes. You have as well. But
for sure.
at the end of the day, it's important to learn from these experiences and learn what works for you and make the most out of it. And it doesn't have to be the same for everyone. Um, but I think like what remains true is that without passion for what you do, you can't last very long in the sport. Like
Yeah,
it's impossible to train hard to do what you do without the passion, without really loving being out there training, pushing when you need to push, doing the ragliate when you need to do the ragliate, and
yeah,
all of that. So yeah, very, very true.
yeah.
I wanted to talk about your 2024 season because I think it was just last week, you shared a post on Instagram recapping your 2024 season. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty incredible. And I just want to list some of the races that you ran and the achievements that you reached.
Mhm.
So it's 4 victories in the Skyrunning World Series plus the final and the overall ranking of the Skyrunning World Series. A fourth place in the European Uphill Championship in Annecy, a gold medal in the European Up and Down Championship in Annecy, third place in Marathon du Mont Blanc, fifth place and second best Swiss time at Sierre Zinal, fifth place and ninth place in the prologue and final of the Golden Trail World Series, 3 times sub 30 minutes in the road 10K, a personal best in the half marathon in 64:08, 38 races in total with how many wins is like more than 12 wins, I guess. Yeah. And a 6th place overall in the ranking of the Golden Trail World Series general
Yeah,
ranking.
that's
By
nice.
far my best season ever. Trust the process. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And then I will ask you more in detail, especially about. I think it's interesting to reflect on what were the original goals for the season, because obviously not every race was like an A goal, like the main goal of the season.
Yeah.
But first question, and I know I gave you a hard time about it many times. Why 38 races? Like, why so many races? Don't you think that focusing on fewer races, you could be even more competitive
Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
races that matter?
Yeah. Like I in my career of 14 years, I think this was the year that I did less races.
That's
We
incredible.
have to start from this point. So
Okay.
I am better than last year.
That's good. That's a good place to start.
Yeah. So yeah, I began with like I said, fall in love with my first race in 2010. So I think there I wanted to race
I
everywhere.
think like racing is in your DNA
Yeah, yeah,
somehow.
I think
It's like crazy. Like it's
yeah.
because it's like stronger than you. If you know that there is a race, like you have to sign up. You have to go.
Yeah,
It's crazy
it's a little bit like this. It's really hard for me to,
to say
if I am
no.
at home alone in a weekend that I don't have a race, and I see, oh, this is an option, I could go there. And it's hard for me to say to myself, stay at home, do training, and not go to the race. But yes, oh yeah, I think yeah, like I said, this year I the number of the race are less than last year, and the years before were maybe 50 a year, something like that. So
Okay.
I reduced a little bit, and yeah, but I have to say that I did 38 races, but most of them were just training races. I was not like pushing hard in on each race.
Yes.
So yeah, but I know that there are some athletes that can't do what I do because it's maybe too stressful to
Yeah.
race because
I
it
am
can
one
be
of them
stressful.
for
Yeah.
sure.
But like I am also for important races like European Championships before the up and down that I really wanted to do well, or before Sierre Zinal that was a race of the season. I slept really well. The day before I was really I don't
Super
know. I was
relaxed.
not super relaxed, no, but I was relaxed. I didn't feel the pressure of the race. I think this is also maybe a strength that I have to not
Yes.
feel so much pressure about the races, and yeah, so this is maybe a point that it's why I do so many races.
Yes.
And yeah, you said which of the races were my A races at the beginning of the season. So at the beginning of the season, that now it's like 3 years that I'm always focusing in the first months to do a lot of flat trainings. So my first goal of the season were to run under 30 minutes on the 10K. That is like a dream that I had, like I would say from the beginning of my career, and that I didn't achieve until 2024. So that was really something that I wanted to do. And then I wanted also to run a good time on the half marathon. And I choose Barcelona half marathon because Brooks was one of the main sponsors. So it was my choice. So from
Yeah. Also, the
December,
race is very fast and
also the
competitive,
race.
so it's a
Yeah,
good race to run fast.
yeah. And yeah, and then also find a good group in the race, and I could manage to do a good time. So from December 2023 to March 2024, these 4 months, I wanted really to focus on my flat training and be faster on that, and yeah. So, but I don't know if I could say half marathon was my A race. I would say yeah, A B race.
I think it was.
So
I think it's fair to say that working on your speed was like a good introduction to the to what was next, like to the trail
yeah,
season. Like
yeah,
I think
that's for sure.
achieving like a really high VO2 max speed and threshold on flat really helped you
Yeah,
have a really good running economy and fitness on the trails, and then you can like transfer those qualities that you developed on the flat to the trails
yeah,
with like specific trainings and adaptations, and you're starting like from a base that is probably much higher than everyone else. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's one thing, that's one way to look at your first part of the season this year.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not just this year. It's now it's 3 years that I'm
Yes,
really focusing on flat at the beginning for really being better than in summer, starting with a higher level.
yeah, like the idea
Yeah,
is to
like you said, like you
get
said, like you
faster.
said,
Like the more you raise the top
yours.
speed, the
Yeah,
better you become for sure. Because if you have like a low ceiling, you cannot go beyond a certain point.
yeah. And I know that when I'm in like season when I have a lot of races and I have to do also a lot of elevation gain, I will lose for sure a bit of
Yes,
speed, and I cannot work too much on that because you have also to race and everything. So it's that I think
totally.
it's the perfect moment of the year is the winter to focus on that and to reach the higher level possible. So yeah,
Yes,
this is what I do now, and so I did these races, and then for the mountain season, let's say trail season, my A races at the beginning were um, Europeans, vertical and up and down, both of them. Then Marathon du Mont Blanc, Sierre Zinal, Final Golden, and Final Skyrunning. These were my 6A
yes,
races, and uh, and these six went
super
really,
well.
really well. Yeah, super well. And between them, yeah, for sure. The beginning, I wanted to perform also well in the skyrunning races. That I performed super well because I had a so good winter preparation with no injury. I did every training that I planned. I did a lot of kilometers. I did one month in Tenerife before starting the races of skyrunning, and I was so good shape there, and so I could really manage to already begin the year with a super high level, and I was super happy to take 3 wins in the skyrunning circuit, but without really putting the A races there.
Yes,
And yeah, I would say yeah. Then all the season went really well. I would say reached all these A races with a super high level without no problems, and yeah, and then after all this, not every of these races, but after a lot of these A races, I had a little bit of down, and yeah, I raced a little bit also after that, and some races went a little bit less good, but it's
yeah,
normal
it's
in any
normal. It's
races.
physiological, I think,
Yeah,
because
no,
I mean,
yeah,
you cannot expect your fitness
no,
to always be at the top. There is like there needs to be a period of
there it needs to be,
ups
yeah,
and downs for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, and so yeah, I would say generally the season went really great. It was my best season. Already last year was my best year of my career, and this year went better. So I'm super
Yes,
happy with it. And yeah, I would say what I can improve is just to to reduce a little bit more my races, and then it's okay, because also this year when I saw that I raced a little bit less and I really focus on one A goal, like before Marathon du Mont Blanc, after Europeans I did 1 month without racing, and Marathon Mont Blanc went super well,
yeah, I think
and
it
the
was the
same
best of
yeah,
your season.
yeah, I would say that, and Serginal
Yes,
I would say, yeah. And
I
also,
mean, also the European champs,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
you cannot underestimate that, of
No,
course.
that's for sure. The
But
results were super easy, super, super top. But if you have to ask me what are your two best races of the season, I would say like what I felt during the races, I would say Marathon du Mont Blanc and Sierre Zinal.
yes, also the times that you ran there, because it's I mean, 2:32 in Sierre Zinal, and what was the time in Marathon du Mont Blanc?
33, I think.
3:32, 3:33.
33,
Yeah,
33.
it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, super happy. And
Yes.
yeah, after Marathon Mont Blanc, I did another months of training, and then also Sierre Zinal went super great. And I feel that when I go in altitude, after 1 month in altitude, I'm in super good shape. Like after Tenerife, after Sestriere, I need really 1 good month, and then I'm really super in
Yeah.
super condition.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I mean, I know you very well, but for people that are looking at your season and seeing 38 races without really understanding the context and the why behind these races, it's hard to understand
Yeah,
how you were planning your season. But it's actually six main races and then 32 other complementary races that help you
yeah,
perform at these like A goals that uh, you definitely achieved, because all of your A races went super well.
yeah.
Um, Another thing that I think it's interesting to discuss briefly, and that we also discussed in many trainings, many sessions that we did together in Sester or on our bike rides, whatever, is relative to the ITRA or UTMB scoring or indexes or points, whatever, of these races, because I think the score that you achieved in some of these races is a good example of why these rankings, these systems needs to be improved. Because, for example, I was checking your UTMB profile and you
Mhm.
achieved the 927 points in Acantilados del Norte. That is I think the first skyrunning
Yeah,
races that you won this year.
yeah,
937 in Calamoro Skyrunning World
yeah,
Series. And then 898 in the European Championship in Annecy and 912 in Sierre Zinal. So much lower than, for example, these two results.
yeah,
Another example with ITRA, only 872 in the uphill race in Annecy, and only 883 in the Golden Trail Series final, where you were ninth,
yeah,
compared to, you know, other races that were maybe much lower profile, where you didn't put your best effort, where you achieved a much higher number of points. You
yeah,
gave me another example. You went to Vallestura Sky Race, like a local race in Italy, and you really took it easy with
yeah,
Lorenzo Ratamartir, and you did 886
yeah,
points
yeah.
by like going really zone two, like basically the whole race.
Yeah, 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 like we
That was
talked
a ragliata pretty much.
during the, yeah, yeah, it was a little bit more than a rayata, yeah.
Okay. So these, I think, are good examples of
Yeah,
why these ranking systems needs to be improved, because they don't reflect the actual performance, the actual effort you were putting in those
yeah.
races. What do you think?
I think this system, I think it's
Is it
good
is
to
it
have.
true? Like, first of all, is it true what I'm trying to point out? What I'm trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say?
I'm
Do you agree?
100%. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay.
We spoke a lot of these systems, and yeah, I think it's good to have um, an index that gives points, so you can a little bit see the levels of the races. But the thing is that in races that have no level, and maybe they are the first time in the like third edition and everything, without no no good time, like
No,
record
no
time,
historic times. Yes.
historic times and everything. It's really, I think it's really difficult to give really points because okay, the systems, the index gives points from the time, for the technicity of the race, elevation gain, kilometer,
Conditions. Yeah.
condition of all this kind of stuff, and then they do a coefficient, and then they give points for a certain time, and
Yeah, basically, like what they do is they establish a theoretical best time that corresponds
yeah,
to 1,000
1,000, yeah,
points, and then depending on this best hypothetical time,
yeah,
everyone else gets the point that they get depending on their
the
finish
time
time.
that, yeah,
Of
yeah,
course, the system does not depend on the finish like the ranking, the position that you achieve at the finish, just on the performance on your time.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and what do you think? I think it's really difficult also for them to give a real give right points to
To be
each race.
objective, I
Yeah,
think.
it's really difficult. It's really difficult. So I don't know. I think like I know that there are brands that are looking a lot
Yes.
to these points, and I think this is really bullshit. Like a brand cannot look
No,
at these things because, like, just if you see the Marathon du Mont Blanc, there was a lot of good athletes there, and like position, like what you did, like position 7, 8, 9,
I was eighth. Yes.
yeah, but in the position that you were, you had no points.
Yeah, I think less
Where-
than 900 points. And
Yeah,
for other races that I did, I mean, I definitely ran other good races this year, but I
yeah,
think my performance at Marathon du Mont Blanc deserved probably more points than what I got. And yeah, like it's crazy that people who work in the sports marketing for brands and who are in the position of signing contracts with athletes and who are paying
yeah,
attention to these rankings and these numbers because they don't know enough about the sport. They base their decision on
yeah,
these rankings, these points. It's pretty bullshit because
yeah,
they don't reflect what the sport actually is, the real situation and who is actually running fast and who is not. Because sometimes athletes who are I don't want to say like low level athletes, but maybe not really elite or top athletes, they're achieving like an incredible like a big number of points
true,
on a
yeah,
random race
yeah,
just because the ranking system is biased or is like
yeah,
is really not accurate, not reflecting the performance.
yeah, yeah. It's true. Like I in there are some brands that have people that decide like which budget to give where, and if these people don't know anything about the sport and they look only to the points, this is really bad
Yeah, it
for
creates
the athlete.
a situation with a lot of confusion and where athletes who really deserve are not getting the support that they should, and athletes who don't deserve are maybe getting more support than what they actually
Yeah,
deserve.
it's true. It's true. It's really true. And but I'm not saying that every brand like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, there are
because in a lot of brands
exceptions.
there are people that decide that know really well the sport and know they know which races are to look at and which other races are not really to look at, and the points are a little bit in like in this you can look a little bit at the points but not primary, like secondary.
Yes.
Primary it's something
Yes, I
else.
mean, if you know the sport, I think you realize
Yeah,
what you're trying
but
to point out.
but
It's more important
not
to really know the sport, the races, the athletes, than to look at the these rankings for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And luckily, there are some established races with like historic times where there's been really good athletes going to these races for a really big number of years. Sierre Zinal, Marathon du Mont Blanc, Zegama, some
Yeah,
skyrunning races, some ultras, UTMB, Western State. That's where the real competition is. That's
yeah,
where the real level is.
yeah,
And those are the races that brands should be
yeah.
looking at.
Really like this because I've seen also a lot of athletes that maybe they do races that nobody have ever done or races with no level and they say, oh, I did so many points, I reached 900 points and everything, and then they come to these really races with a really high level like Sierre Zinal, Marathon du Mont Blanc, blah 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 blah, and then they reach maybe like 100 point less because that's their really level if you compare with the top at if the top athletes of the world have 950, if you arrive in a certain isle 20 minutes after them, you cannot reach 900 points. You will reach 800 points. Maybe they did also a good race for them, and then they think like, I did a shit race today because they look only at the points because the points of that day said 800 and
They don't
3 weeks
understand that
before
is
you did
the
900.
real level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's their level because in that race that the system was wrong because also like we have to say it like in ITRA UTMB index you maybe look a race you see 27K 2000 vertical meters and then you do the race in maybe 3 kilometers less with 500 elevation less and this is like insane how
Yeah.
many points you will get more because of this
I
error.
mean, I know that you're not really taking into account the stats that are provided by the race organizer. I should be basing their ranking on like some more accurate data, but for sure there is on some like there is at some level the problem that you're trying to point out.
Yeah,
So yeah, bottom line, I mean, without getting too deep into this topic, the
yeah,
system needs to be improved, and what I wish to see is also just one ranking. I don't think having two ranking system, ITRA and UTMB, really makes sense or like
yeah,
does a really good job for the sport because we need union and not the division. So
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's nice to have a point system. I think everybody would love to have
oh yeah,
a,
for sure.
a point system that really works for every race would be really super. But I think it's impossible. We have so many different races with the technicity that's changed so much. The maybe in the next I don't know years we will have a system that relies a little bit more to the reality, but we will have for sure. Um, uh, you have to have a difference. You cannot be 100% sure about the points that you will get.
Yes.
It will never
Yeah,
be
yeah.
accurate.
It's a problem without an easy
Solution.
solution for
Yeah,
sure. It's a complex solution. For sure, there are things that we can do to improve the current situation. So this is what I wish
yeah,
would happen in the near future. Will we ever achieve the perfect ranking, the perfect scenario? Probably not. But
probably. But yeah,
I think this is not the reason not to strive, not to work in this direction.
yeah, yeah.
Good. Just going like final question because I know you have to leave.
Yeah.
Have you had any have you made any plans about 2025 and your how do you see your 2025? What are some of the things that you're planning to work on to continue to improve? I mean, you've achieved such a high level that it's getting every year more difficult to improve, to raise the bar. But I think being a good athlete is also putting yourself into question and trying to find like the marginal gains that can really help you to unlock another level. So what are some of the things that you're thinking about in this direction?
Yeah. I think in 2025 I will retire.
You can retire now. It's over.
Yeah. No, so yeah, in this week that I did really 0 kilometers, I were really relaxing a little bit. We're thinking about the last season, what to do the next season, and I think like races wise, I didn't decide yet, but for sure I will do Golden Trail and um, the World Championships in Spain. I
Yes.
think short trail, so marathon distance. And then I don't know if I will follow another time the skyrunning series. If yes, I will do like this year that I did at the beginning of the year, skyrunning races, then focus golden, then final golden, and then maybe another race of skyrunning with the final, like I did now this year. But I don't know. And I would also like maybe to do OCC this year.
Yes.
So these are my races. Like
The
I
general
would,
plan.
yeah, general plan is this. Then I have to decide which races of golden, which races skyrunning.
Of course.
But this is the general plan. And how to improve? Like I said before, I think if I reduce a little bit the races, I could maybe improve a little bit more. And I think I maybe could do a little bit more um, trainings in altitude. Maybe like yeah, a little bit more that
More
because
altitude
I
training.
really felt that altitude training helps me really a lot. And so before the A races, before every A races, I should maybe go 3 weeks in altitude. But for sure, if I have like 3 A races, that means like 18 weeks in total in altitude. That maybe it's too much. But so I have to a little bit see.
Yeah, yeah,
But
of course. It's a matter
yeah,
of
but
planning.
I
I
think
think if you're racing a lot, it's also
needed.
hard to spend difficult to spend a prolonged period of times in altitude and be like super consistent with training, because another thing is that racing breaks the training routine and you can't be as
Yeah,
consistent as you are because you need recovery, you need to taper, so you're not. I think it's something that Killian really expressed really well, how important it is to build a routine and to follow a routine of training.
it is.
And it's a lot of fun to race, of course, but then you have to consider how much is actually beneficial for your goals and how that fits into your training routine and
Yeah,
life.
it is. Yeah, yeah. It is like this. So yeah, and like kilometers, hours for next year, I think I reached now a volume that I think it's I maybe it's really the max that I should do. More
Mhm.
than this, maybe it's too risky for
Yeah.
injury. So I think now I reached. I'm also 27 years old. It's 14 years that I ran. I think now I have reached the volume that I need for staying in this level. So I don't really have now to say I have to improve more. I think now the real goal is to maintain this level.
Yeah,
This level, like here,
consolidate
yeah,
your
yeah.
strengths and maybe
And
work a little bit on your weaknesses if there are any. I mean, it's hard to find any weak spot
yeah,
in your
it
own
is.
training and life, but I don't know, like maybe it's also like optimizing a little bit with the nutrition during the races or in normal life,
Yeah,
optimizing sleep. There is for sure
yeah. This
always way to
things,
work on
yeah, a little
marginal
bit,
gains.
but for sure. But I would say like looking at training, this is
Yeah,
what I should do. Like a copy paste of this year should be good.
yeah. I mean, on one way, I was thinking that more is not necessarily better, of course. So this volume, this training system obviously works for you. And then at the same time, not necessarily what's worked for you in the past is necessarily working for you in the same way in the future. So you always have to be able to
Adapt. Yeah,
make adjustments, achieve compromises, find new ways, new system, because you never know what happens, how you
Yeah.
react, how your
Also
body responds. So
also for the motivation, because now
yes.
I'm motivated to do this kind of races, but I don't know, maybe in 5 years, I I don't find anymore the motivation to do like races of 20, 30K. Maybe I want to go on ultras, I don't know, but for
Yeah.
now I think I will, like I said, my next season will be almost the same, almost the same races as this season.
Mhm.
So I think for now doing more or less the same will work. But yeah, for the future you have to find something. You grow up, you change something, and so you need to adapt. And
Yeah.
but this is in everything you have to adapt. So
Yes.
for every change. So yeah, and yeah, trying to really being better in all the little stuff, little things, and yeah, this is it.
All right, man. Thanks so much for the conversation. It was great, and I hope the audience enjoyed it.
Hope so.
Good luck with the rest of your off season. I mean, I will probably see you tomorrow for a bike ride, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna be
we go.
nice to do a ragliata together
Ragliata pazzesca on the bike.
on the bike. Yes.
Okay, thanks for
Okay.
having me. It
Yeah.
was
Talk to you
nice
soon.
video. And yeah, then see you tomorrow on the bike.